Welcome to the Right Place podcast, where we learn with you how to navigate the world by building connections that matter, relationships that last, and businesses that thrive. My name is John Watson, and today I'm joined by a friend of mine, Gerhard Cruywagen. He is my neighbor here in Durbanville side. Gerhard, great to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, John. Thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to this awesome podcast, and let's do this.
Awesome. Thanks, Gerhard. So for those of you who don't know, Gerhard and I founded the Clara Business Network a couple of years ago. That's where we've spent a lot of time, a lot of hours on the stage, organizing the events and things like that. And we'll get to that part of our relationship a little bit later. But Gerhard, let's just get some background on who Gerhard Cruywagen is. Gerhard, you grew up in Durbanville. You went to Durbanville High School, Durbanville Word. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
My father was he was a broker, a financial broker in Durbanville for many years. You know, he did work for Sanlam as well. But I can't tell you that I ever really wanted to follow in his footsteps. You know, from a very young age, you know, I was buying and selling. So I was always selling whatever I was able to get my hands on, and making the extra buck. Just to give you a good idea, I grew up in Belmarie Park in Durbanville, where we were blessed with large properties. You know, I think there was about 6 Belleville Aravan, you know, that were able to fit into our Durbanville plots, you know, in Belmarie Park. And I think we had about 9 or 10 lemon trees. Many afternoons, you know, I would just pick lemons, you know, and bag them and take them to cafes, you know, and supermarkets in Durbanville and sell them for extra money and stuff like that. So I was always trying to think out of the box. But yeah, buying and selling was pretty much my thing when I grew up. You know, it wasn't only lemons, you know, it was buying. My first car I bought when I was 11 years old, the beach buggy, you know, bought it for 1,000 rand, sell it again, you know, after a few months, you know, for 3,000, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing. So I think buying and selling was pretty much, you know, all my life when I grew up. That was pretty much what I was aiming at.
And is that something that came naturally to you? What sparked that? Was it just, let's make money. Making money is making money.
I think it was obviously making money. Money is always, you know, obviously top of the list, you know. But for me, it was quite a satisfaction, you know, buying something and selling it, you know, for a profit, obviously a bonus, you know. But you know, it's like I said, it started off with lemons, and then it was beach buggies, you know. Whenever I saw something, you know, that I thought was a bargain and I can resell it for a profit, you know, there was windsurfers, paddle skis, you know, bicycles, you know. Yeah, there was always something, you know, that just triggered, you know, me and said, listen, this is a bargain, let's buy it and let's resell it again.
Excellent. And that's obviously good for your networking and your connections, because you're meeting different people, you're walking around the block, you're walking around the neighborhoods, you get to meet your neighbors, get to introduce yourself to these people. I mean, that's obviously good for future business as well.
Absolutely. You know, people get to know you as someone that can sell anything, you know, before you know it, you know, they would contact you and tell you and ask you, listen, would you mind selling this for me, you know? So yes, absolutely, building connections, getting to know more and more people from different industries, you know, and then your network just become bigger and bigger.
Okay, excellent. So what did you do when you left school? You finished matric at Durbanville. What happened next?
Mm-hmm. I completed matric, yes, in 93. Now I gave my age away. In 93, yes, I finished matric. Then I went to Cape Technicon. I studied computer programming. I finished my year, got my diploma. It was obviously it's a 3-year course, but I finished after 1 year. Computer programming wasn't for me. I loved computers, but it wasn't about the programming part. So after that 1 year, I went on and did more a software kind of courses as well, and got my diploma on that, and then also what is known today is, I think it's A plus more the technical side as well. So I got to know the technical side of computers as well. Is then I basically started, I think it was in 95. I started working at Audiovision. I don't know if Audiovision still exists, but they had branches, in Tiger Valley and Cavendish Square. Yeah, there was in one city. I don't think Canal Walk was here opened at that stage yet. But they started off, they wanted to start selling computers. So I basically started working for them, and I opened all their computer branches and sections for them in their stores. When I was done with Cape Town, I went to the Gauteng area, and I opened all their branches for them, the computer sections in their stores. That was now for Sandton, Rosebank, and Eastgate, and all over. So I was there in Joburg for about 3 or 4 months, opening all their stores. And then I got back, and I kind of decided, listen, what's next on my list, So I actually went. Then I went to the States. I went to the States. I think that was in '97. I went to the States for 2 years, where I studied again. I was at University of North Arkansas. I must tell you that was pretty much just to be legal in the country. I was on a tourist visa first, but then after they extended it once, they didn't want. They didn't want to extend it again. So I knew I had to. Gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat here and to get to stay in the country in a legal way. So I basically enrolled at University of North Arkansas, and for a year I studied small business management. Where I got my diploma there, which was, in my opinion, the best asset of all my studies. So that was awesome. And then I got homesick, because back in the 90s there wasn't WhatsApp and all the social media and stuff, and I was missing my family. I'm a family man. After 2 years, only chatting to my family, on the phone, maybe once or twice every second month, for 5 minutes, I was like, it's time to get back to South Africa. So I got back, and then I think a couple of days later, after I landed, I met my wife. So, yeah.
That was good timing.
Good timing, absolutely.
Excellent. Now, Gerhard, in your 2 years there in America, in Arkansas, what did you pick up about the American way of doing business, or their approach to business, or their mindset to business? Anything stand out for you?
I can tell you that I was doing, because I was most of the time not doing illegal work, but yes, I was being paid under the table. So I was pretty much working on farms. I was baling hay, and I was riding tractors. I was cleaning fence lines, and I had one of those funky grass cutters, what do you call it, lawn mowers, where you sit on it, and I was just I was doing all the labor, hard labor jobs that they didn't want to do. If I've got to tell you what stands out for me in the States, they like building trust with people. That's definitely something. If you keep your relationship with them very, on a personal level, and you make them comfortable before you not just put a sales pitch out there, but if you kind of just build that trust relationship first, you get much more out of it, out of the relationship, and potential more business in the future.
Okay, that's very interesting. I think trust is a big part in business. I mean, you got to keep your integrity. You got to maintain your network. You got to maintain your trust relationships. Because eventually you're gonna have to depend on people, and if they don't trust you, they're not going to help you, and they're not going to open other doors for you. So
Yeah.
you come back from America, you meet your wife.
Yes. Yes.
Then was it around that time that you had the idea for PC laptops, or what is the origin story there?
No. When I got back, and I started working for a big clothing company here in Cape Town. I was production manager for them. That was now in '98, I think it was. So yes, I was production manager for them. It was a very stressful job, because I mean, in the clothing industry, there's just so much that can go wrong. It's from patterns to CMTs and dye colors that can be wrong. Printing, embroidery, it's a stressful job. So I was doing that for about 2 years, but like I said, I met my wife then, and she thought, I came back from the States, this guy must have so much money now, and it was just everything was just great, and yeah. And I just thought, I'm going to have to start doing something here, because with this salary at this place, I'm not getting anywhere fast, To give you a long story short, so I decided, I'm going to save some money, and I think I gave her, I put like 600 rand, away per month, and put it in my closet, in an envelope. After about 3 months, and I went to look in the envelope, and there was like obviously 1,800 rand, and I was like, oh man, this is just too slow for me. So someone told me, Sanlam headquarters in Bellville, they're selling computers, end of lease machines, and anyone is welcome to go buy there. I was like, why not? Let me give it a try. So I went to Sanlam, and it was actually exactly 600 rand a PC. So I took my 1,800 and I bought 3 PCs. And I took the PCs, I put it, I don't know if you remember Cape Ads, I put it on Cape Ads, and I advertised them for 1,200. And within 3 days, I sold all 3 of them. And all of a sudden, my 1,800, was now 3,600. I was like, oh, okay, this is more the growth I wanted. So I took all that again, and I bought 6 PCs, and yeah, I just kept going. And from there, in a nutshell, it just kept growing. And I kept doing that, with PCs. I basically added more products, laptops and stuff as well. Was doing it on the side, just continue selling on Cape Ads. And then I think it was in 2001, I think I had to make a decision, because it was just too much. I had my daytime job and I was doing this on the side. So I decided, okay, it's now time to go full time. So I resigned and I went full time. And I think, end of 2001, we got married in December, and that's exactly when I went full time as well.
Oh my word! So you became your own boss, and then you got married pretty much at the same time. I mean, you had a lot on your plate then. Obviously, you have to put food on the table. Stressful time, just being newly married, new business, and everything. How did you handle all of that? I mean, you must have been a couple of sleepless nights.
It was very stressful, especially with my wife's dad as well, because he was very old school, and he didn't understand, how can this guy, a month before he gets married to his daughter, he's resigning his job. Yeah, so I had a lot of, it was very stressful, but I did my homework, and I made sure, what I was doing on the side was at least going to cover my salary, and that I used to have. So yeah, I was happy for the challenge, but like you said, there's always a few hurdles in the way. I don't want to get too involved with personal stuff, but yeah, there was, unfortunately, in a month after I got married, and with this new business that I started, unfortunately, I was involved in armed robbery. I was dealing with a lot of cash to fill at that stage, and I was shot. And that was a very big mental scar for me, because I was dealing with the public, and people. I was relying on people, unknown people calling me, to buy computers and PCs and stuff. And all of a sudden, I didn't know who was calling me. Unfortunately, that was a big setback. But I got through it, and all good.
And Gerhard, in those early days, were there any other people around you helping you with it? To do all of this by yourself, pack the boxes, go and fetch the PCs, handle the cash, do the business. I mean, eventually you need some people to come on board. Tell us about some of those people who came on to help you, even if on a temporary basis.
My my wife was in the beginning. My wife was helping me a lot. She was pretty much the one, driving with a 1400 Nissan Bucky, to Sanlam, and just collecting, 10 pieces for me and bring it back home, etc., etc. And I was basically doing the refurbing on the machine and just getting them ready to resell. So she was definitely helping me a lot. But otherwise, there wasn't really anyone else. I was pretty much doing it all myself. And I tell you, I think that's one of the most difficult things when it comes to the next step of your business, and that's employing that first person. Because if you're going to be a one-man show, and you're not going to get someone to help you, you're always going to be a one-man show. So I think it was in 2003. I pulled in my dad. I said, listen, let's do something together. I brought him in, and he was actually helping me a lot. I basically expanded my business in not only selling PCs. I basically added not only accessories but a workshop related side, and batteries and chargers, etc. And I got him to handle that. And I was obviously paying him a salary and commission on all that as well. And I think when I got success out of that, it was like, for me, okay, that's how I'm going to grow my business. I'm going to have to get more people and more people and more people, and then grow at a slow rate, and expand like that.
Okay, awesome. That's wonderful to be able to build something successful with your dad.
Yes.
Fast forward a few more years, and you end up with a strategic partnership with Dell, which I think has gone up until today. Tell me about that relationship, maybe how it came about, and how it works for both of you.
There was always a few hurdles with Dell. Back in the early 2000s, I was you remember Dell wasn't selling through distribution in the early days. They were pretty much selling online, that you can buy from them directly, and then they had their few partners that you can obviously buy from as well. But I was pretty much the only commercial partner in Dell South Africa in the Western Cape. I think there was only 3 partners in South Africa. So that was a very cool thing to have, behind my name. Everyone knew me in the Cape Town area as the Dell guy. So I was selling a lot of Dells. Dell's always been my main brand. Up to today, it's still still my main brand. But unfortunately, I think around 2007, they decided they want to go the distribution way. So they pretty much got rid of all their commercial partners, and I just became a preferred registered partner. And now there's plenty of preferred registered partners, and like all the other partners, we've got to buy through distribution. But it's fine. Luckily I've made my name as a Dell partner in South Africa. Yeah, I've got my network that I work through, and it got my benefits from it. Yes.
Awesome, Gerhard. You didn't just stop at PCs and laptops. A couple of years back, you branched out into printing machines under a new company you started, Code for You. Tell me a bit about that product and then the backstory there. I know it's a collaboration with one of your best friends.
Absolutely, yes. I'm always looking for something new, and it's for me it's a lot about knowledge building as well. And you've got to learn, and about the industry. You've got to move on with times, otherwise you're gonna be left behind. And my main function, with PC laptops, yes, I still do sales, but I'm pretty much 80% of the time involved with just buying stock. I'm always getting the right, I always say if you get the right stock at the right price, any salesman can sell it. So I'm very involved when it comes to buying stock, so I've got extra time. Yes, my best friend from school, he contacted me and said, maybe we must try something like that, and we started a company called Code for You, and it runs with PC laptops. Code for You is basically, we specialize in thermal inkjet printers, and it's handheld and inlines. So you've got a printer that you can just print directly onto the products, and that can be for branding or for best before dates, expiry dates, production dates, barcodes, serial numbers, etc., etc. It's a very niche market. You can't just go to anyone and sell it, because if you don't really need it, you're not going to be buying it. But if you're someone that spend a lot of money on stickers and you want to save the planet and use less paper and stickers, then it's it can work for you. We started about 2 years ago, and it's grown a lot. I've learned a lot. I've built so much knowledge on this industry, and I love it. And there's not nearly as much competition in this industry as well as in the IT industry. But it's also, we touched base with it earlier, it's a lot about trust as well, so luckily my network is quite big already, over 25 years, in this industries. I've got a big trust relationship with a lot of people, and that definitely helped me as well with growing the new business.
Excellent, Gerhard. So you and I met, I think, 2019. Here in Durbanville. We were on the social committee in our estate, and we were doing small events as the estate was growing. And then one day on the squash court, I don't know how it happened, but we were talking about, we need to do something for the businesses, we need to make something happen. And then you said, well, why don't we start more like a business network thing? We had one or two other discussions, went to, I think, estate management, spoke to them as well. And then we had our first event. We had no idea what we were doing. We made a lot of mistakes. We got a lot of blank stares. But if you think back to that time, just starting the Clara Business Network, what do you remember from those early days? And has it been worth it from your point of view?
It's definitely been worth it. It was humble beginnings. It was quite interesting in the beginning, because I think I had this conversation with you because me and my staff, we, in the earlier years, I think between 2005 and 2015, we did go to a lot of these BNI networking events, several chapters in the Durbanville and Bellville area that we attended to. We obviously knew the benefits involved with networking, and I thought we got the social committee up and running, and it was kind of time for a new venture. And I like the idea of networking in a business environment. I think if we can get back to that first meeting, I remember me and you sitting there in the Clara Annafontaine clubhouse on each of a bar chair, and we actually got a lot of people that came. I think, just remember, at that time, there wasn't a lot of people living in the estate yet. Now, we were still, I think, only 20% full. So I think there was about 50 or 60 people that showed up for that first introduction meeting, and we were pretty much just chatting to each other like we are chatting now, and answering questions, and we didn't really know where it was going. We didn't know, if it's going to be a freebie or if we're going to charge everyone. But we learned a hell of a lot over the past few years. The second meeting, I remember the second meeting, the official meeting that we had. We had tables, and it was like a round table, like a typical BNI breakfast kind of networking meeting. But we soon discovered, listen, we need to bring a kind of a very social vibe to it, with almost no rules. It's got to be easy going, easy flowing. And I think what we created with CBN in Clara, it definitely works. It's a relaxed vibe. Everyone just socialize and network, and I'm very proud of what we created. It's something that hopefully will continue for many years to come.
No, definitely, Gerhard, I agree with you. I think you can't break the rules if there aren't no rules. And I think we've kind of had some quite random events. We've had some high-profile guest speakers. We've had some a bit out there guest speakers who haven't made a lot of sense. But we've had Valans take over the whole clubhouse. We've had the mayor of Cape Town who's on his way in. And I think because it happens in a natural setting and it's wine tasting, I think that's where the more natural conversations happen. There's nothing forced about it. You can literally attend the CBN. You don't have to say anything. You go sit in the corner, you will sit at the bar even and watch the proceedings and go home. You don't have to talk to anyone. But if you want to talk to someone, if you want to stand up and do a 1 minute, if you want to, if you're only attracted to the wine tasting, or you just want to hear what the guest speaker is, there's room for you. So you don't have to fit in a formula. For instance, maybe a BNI formula, or we're going to penalize you if there's not enough referrals or things like that. And I think maybe that is what's been the attraction. And I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's cool to do this. And I really look forward to it on a monthly basis. I think we've got a great group, me and yourself and Gavin and Anthony. And it's normally the only time we see each other, because we're busy running our own businesses. We've got our own family and friends to take care of. So it's nice for us to meet up also on a monthly basis. I like to joke with people and say, look, we don't actually have a committee. We've got a WhatsApp group. We kind of organize the things. We check in with management. Is the stage available? Check the guest speaker. Gavin helps with the wine farms. And then it kind of comes in together. And then obviously Adrian is doing our artwork, which has been an amazing addition. He's really, really excellent. So I think it's been it's grown quite well. And always looking forward to our next event.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's been a lovely journey. I think what's making CBN so special as well. A lot of people think with these network events, it's all about pitching and selling. It's not about that. Just go stand there and just go start a conversation. Tell people what you do. Don't especially with these 1 minutes, we've seen so many 1 minutes, where people just they don't understand what's the whole idea behind the 1 minute. Just tell someone what you do. Gerhard, or I'm John, this is what I do for a living. If you like what you hear, or if you want to get to know me better, come and chat with me in the break, and then let's network. I think the worst thing you can do is to put a sales pitch into a 1 minute with the mic in front of you.
Exactly.
Got to build that trust relationship first.
Absolutely. You got to build the trust relationship, and you're not necessarily going to sell something on the first time you meet. Maybe you just plant the idea. Look, I sell PCs. I've got thermal inject printing. And maybe the second or the third time someone talks to you, they say, hey, I actually need this, or can I explore this option with you? And then that's when the sale happens. If you're just going to say, please buy my stuff in the first minute, people are going to be turned off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome, Gerhard. So, Gerhard, you've had a long career running your own business. How do you view connections and networking? Let's put the CBN aside. So how do you approach your networking, maintain those key relationships for your business? How are you doing that nowadays?
It's obviously important to stay in touch with your network. I know you're very big and involved in LinkedIn. I try to be. I need to be more involved there and be networking more. But I think it's important that you concentrate on your network, and not only the people that's buying from you and supporting you all the time. People that you haven't heard from in a while. Just touch base. And call them up, drop them an email, and say, "Listen, how are you doing? How's business? Is there anything I can assist you with?" It's I feel when it comes to your network, it's important not to always think of what they can do for me. It's important to get the word out to them. It's like, what can I do for you? It's if you keep giving, I promise you, it's going to come back to you sooner or later. So I think if we're not so much focused on what we can get out of our network, we're going to get so much more from our network automatically.
Absolutely, Gerhard. I think you speaking my language there, and I think there's so many times where I have phoned someone out of the blue, like suddenly my network, and spoken to them, and I just wanted to check up on them, what's happening, how's business on their side, and then they'll ask me something. But do you know this person, or can you connect me with that? And then I do that, and then I've helped them. And it wasn't my intention to help them, and it wasn't my intention to get something from them. But just that phone call helps both ways, because now I've reinforced my network, my connection with this person, and I've helped them out. And sometimes they help me out, or they mention an opportunity to me. And I think that's the beauty of it. Just these little small things. It doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it can be a WhatsApp message. It can be a short email. It can be a quick phone call.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to pay dividends down the line, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely, it makes a huge difference. And just being self-confident all the time and believing in yourself. That's energy that you push out, and it's something that's that everyone notices out there, and it makes a big difference. Just going out there and being positive. If you're positive, automatically people's just going to pick it up, and there's nothing more attractive as someone being confident, in themselves, and that's already a trustworthy vibe that you push out. That's not replaceable. Everyone's going to notice it. It just makes a big difference, huh?
Excellent, Gerhard. Well, Gerhard, I've had a very positive discussion with you today. Thank you so much for your time. I think we're going to leave it there. And look forward to seeing you at the next CBN and seeing what happens next. Thank you to all of our listeners. Please check out Gerhard's website, PC Laptops. I'll put the link in the description below. Please follow him as well on LinkedIn. Reach out to him. He's very, very friendly. And thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time at the right place.
Thank you, John.
Cheers.